Once upon a time, in the far-off land of Odd Fairy, there was a family. In that family, there was the bipolar manic depressive father and the counter mother, and then there was the gaseous sorceress niece and the fuzzy wuzzy brother to the niece, the nephew, and then there was the hungry son, and then there was the always wrong, super annoying
Super duper annoying. Super duper annoying.
door guard.
Poopy. She loves poop.
So the door's guard, because she eschewed the company of most, had two hyenas. The hyenas were a special breed made from breeding a cat and a dog, thus making the hyena. And she named them Classy and Mickey. So Classy was a little uppity. She liked to walk around with her nose in the air and her tail up in the air all the time. And Mickey was kind of dumb. She walked into walls all the time. All the time.
I think you have the next time.
And so Classy would only eat very specific, very hand-prepared meals of like the finest fish with a side of quail egg, but it had to be poached. It couldn't just be on the fish. The fish had to be sauteed in a light amount of butter with a squeeze of lemon, because she was classy. Mickey ate out of the garbage. Now, the hungry kid got frustrated because the door guard, who was always wrong, was the one who was supposed to help him make his lunches. But she always spent like hours on Classy's food, and then Mickey just ate out of the garbage. And when he was hungry, she'd be so busy preparing Classy's food that he was always hungry. So he went to his cousin, the gaseous sorceress supreme, and she would always try to give him beef and bean burritos.
Oh, no.
Because it was her favorite food. Beef and bean burritos with cheese on top,
Oh,
a
no.
little bit of garlic,
Oh, no.
and sour cream and salsa.
Oh, no.
Because it made her magic the most potent, odorific magic. Now, her brother would run around and chase Mickey. And Mickey would run into walls. He thought it was hilarious, so he would do the same thing. But he had this huge head of hair
Oh, my.
that he would use lots of hairspray on, which made like a helmet that was very crunchy. So he would hit the wall, and it would literally crunch. So one day, the bipolar manic depressive dad came home and had been at work and toiled all the livelong day.
With their bare hands.
And had been struggling to come up with the perfect alchemic formula to turn lead into gold. Because
Ready to go?
lead into gold. Because who doesn't want more gold? But every time he'd get the right kind of lead, because it had to be very, very specific, and the right kind of magical potion, which was very difficult to make, and was able to turn it into gold, somebody always had a catastrophe, and so they had to spend it immediately. The carriage would break down. Somebody would be in the hospital.
I would spend all the money on precious cat food for my precious kitties.
The grocery bill for the cat alone was astronomical. Mickey would just eat out of the trash. So one day he came home
Kato.
super tired because work was hard. And
There was no money.
well, I mean, there's a strike at the mine where the dwarves work, and they didn't bring out the mithril, and so you gotta have mithril to make the potion, and then you can't make the potion, so then you gotta find a substitute. It's a thing. And the counterbalance wife came up and went, "What's wrong?" And he went, "I'm tired. I kind of want to just quit because I can never just make enough to actually have enough to get by. We have just enough to get by, but not enough to do things go to the Enchanted Forest
Let's go to
where
Our daughter had a very bad experience with
no,
trees.
no,
Oh, that's her.
where the niece lived with that special couple kids and the cousin that likes to hit him on the head. The one that's always wrong. Very similar to the door guard.
And the annoying kid.
And the annoying kid who likes to talk to fish. I mean, it's a thing. So
I actually do like to talk to fish.
she was like, "Well, why don't you just look for a different job?" And it was like, "Yeah, well, the thing is when it works, it works. But then when it doesn't, it's super annoying." Super annoying. So the gaseous sorcerer supreme came down and asked everyone if they wanted a burrito, and we were like, "Sure, why not?" But then the door guard ate a burrito, and she was like, "Oh, this sour cream's too spicy."
No
Because
way.
she was the weakest
No
when
way.
it came to spice.
And everything else.
Well, when it came to spice, she was the weakest in the land. Because her stomach needed, straight up, just plain old gruel. And beans were just too much. Sour cream was too rich. Too spicy. And the salsa, well, there was a reason she was obsessed with food. So, the hungry son came down, and the gaseous sorcerer supreme was like, "You want a burrito?" And he was like, "Sure." And he ate one. He's like, "Can I have another one?" She's like, "Sure." And then he ate 3 more. And then she went, "Hey, are you done?" And he was like, "No, can I get some more?" She was like, "Hey, that's all my burritos. What are you expecting to make? Those are my burritos." He was like, "Yeah, but what about, other burritos? What about, can I get, some magic fruit animals? And,
Animals.
what about, what about burrito shells filled with cheese? I mean, that's
Oh
good."
yeah.
And then the annoying
Ugh.
It's you. Oh
The
yeah, that
annoying-
is me.
hard-haired kid who likes to run into walls was like, "Can I have a cheese burrito?"
Oh, I remember that.
And she was like, "Yeah." And she gave it to him, and he went, "I don't like them."
Of course.
That'd be.
So then the manic depressive, bipolar, slightly insane father was like, "Are you freaking kidding me, kid?" And he was like, "What? I don't like them. I only like American cheese burritos." It's like, "It's got American cheese in it." He's like, "Yeah, but it's also got Kobe. I don't like Kobe." And so the hungry son ate it. Because
Who won?
who wants to lose that? I mean, who wants to give up a burrito?
Actually, you mine.
So the parents conferred with the gaseous sorcerer supreme. So the parents conferred with the gaseous sorcerer supreme, and they used her magic stink wand to combine with the alchemic endeavors of the dead, and they made the golden burrito. Now, the golden burrito was special because not only was it, gold. Not only was it gold, but it was actually the world's, and this is an enchanted world, the enchanted world's first self-mass-producing burrito. And so the hungry son was always full because he had an unlimited supply of any type of burrito he wanted. And the gaseous sorcerer supreme was more powerful than ever because she had an unlimited supply for gas. And the hard-haired kid would always just say he didn't like whatever was put in front of him and ask for the next thing. And the door guard finally found something that wasn't in the trash to feed Mickey. And,
However, Mickey still likes the
Does he?
Classy. They sold Classy.
Not classy.
And then,
Sell her.
and then,
We had all the money. We were wealthy. Why did we sell her?
and then,
That's so freaking stupid.
It broke the door. What was
and
my
then,
name?
the door guard.
The door guard.
The door guard, we locked one door every day. And she kept spending all of her days trying to find the locked door and open it. And she could never get it open. And it slowly drove her insane. The end.
Just wow. Unbelievable.